Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Heather and Happy New Year! So I am here today to tell you about all of the books that I hope to read in January. It's kind of a modge podge of books based on one set of readathon prompts and books that I think I will feel like this month. Honestly, I'm in one of those moods where I want to read everything all at once. So I've just picked some random books. I hope that I still feel like them as the month goes on, or I might swap them out for other books that strike my fancy as we get deeper into the month. A lot of them are also either not here yet or in other parts of the house, so the stack in the thumbnail is much smaller than my actual TBR stack will be. I also have a fair amount of digital reads, be they ebooks and audiobooks, that I also hope to get to. The first of those is the last ebook arc that I was given access to in December, and that is The Marriage Season by Jane Dunn. This is a Regency romance, which always hits the nail on the head for me. That is one of my go-to comfort kinds of reads. Plus, there are two very intriguing points about this particular one. One of which is that not only is it about two sisters looking for love in London, but one of them is a widow, is a young widow, which you don't hear about very often, so I'm really intrigued to see how that storyline goes. Besides which, I didn't realize that Jane Dunn is the same Jane Dunn that my mother has loved for ages because she wrote the dual biography of Elizabeth I and Mary, Queen of Scots. So I'm really intrigued to see how I like her as a fiction author. I personally haven't read her nonfiction either, so I can't speak to that, but I know that my mother thinks very highly of it. My first physical read of the year is going to be A Single Thread by Tracy Chevalier. I did not get around to this in December, but just flipping through it, and based on what I've heard other people say about it, I think it could be a 5-star read. At least I hope it is. I'd like to start the year off on a high note. This book is about the women who did needlepoint in Winchester Cathedral in the interwar period. So I'm not sure if we're in the 20s or the 30s or possibly both, but that to me is everything. I love the interwar period. I love embroidery and knitting myself. And not only have I been to Winchester Cathedral, but it is also where Jane Austen is buried. So I'm really hoping they work that in here at some point. Another book that I hope to start the year with is The Murder of Roger Ackroyd by Agatha Christie. I have not physically read many Agatha Christie's. I think I read one. I love her mysteries though. I have grown up watching the television adaptations, especially the Poirots. My father loves a good Poirot. In fact, we bought him the entire set for Christmas or his birthday a few years ago, and we've been working our way steadily through it ever since. But I received Lucy Worsley's biography of Agatha Christie for Christmas, and then was talking to Marissa of Blatantly Bookish about it, and she said that that biography does spoil two of Agatha Christie's novels, one of which is The Murder of Roger Ackroyd. So I want to start the year by listening to that one. I've been enjoying, as I eat lunch in my car, just listening to about half an hour of an audiobook. So that will start off my year on Tuesday when I go back to work. For my nonfiction book for January, I would like to read another Christmas gift, which is The Anthropocene Reviewed by John Green. I love John Green. I have loved him for years. I don't always enjoy his fiction because it's just a little bit too dark for me, but it is very well written. I love his philosophies, and so I'm really excited to read this as I flipped through the introduction in a library over the summer, and it just made me feel everything. So I'm really excited to get to this. These are just essays of him musing on the human condition, I think, particularly the modern human condition. Then, between January 15th and the 29th, I would like to participate in the Winter Mixtape-a-thon. This is hosted by a lot of lovely people on BookTube, including Leanne of Literary Diversions, and Jean of Jean's Bookish Thoughts, and a few of their friends. I did the summer mixtape and the fall mixtape, and they were both really lovely, so I'm really looking forward to the winter one. There are 4 book-related prompts on their bingo card. And so, for a new-to-you author, I would like to listen to Emily Goes to Exeter by, and you'll see this under 2 names, because it was written by M.C. Beaton, who wrote the Hamish Macbeth mystery series. But she wrote them under a pen name, and I believe that pen name was Marion Chesney. So you might see it under both author names. But either way, she wrote Regency romances, which sound great. I haven't read the Hamish Macbeth series, but again, my parents loved them. I think my mother read the books. Both of my parents watched the television series. So I'm really excited to see what her fiction is like that is not a mystery. I am then doubling up on 2 of the prompts for both revisiting a book or an author and setting as plot. I would like to get to Framley Parsonage by Anthony Trollope. This, I am assuming, revolves around Framley Parsonage and all of the goings-on in the house and in the surrounding area. It also counts as setting as plot because I think Barsetshire itself is kind of a plot. And I would really like to finish the Barsetshire series this year because I'm getting an increasing number of Trollope's standalones. But I've promised myself I'm going to finish this series before I start going through his standalones. And then for the prompt of indie or self-published or small press published book, I would like to read 10,000 Stitches by Olivia Atwater. This was originally self-published, but then has been picked up by the, I believe, small publisher Orbit. And I read the first one, Half a Soul, over Christmas, and I loved it. It was so wonderful. You'll see that in my December wrap-up. So I'm really excited to get to the second one. It just arrived, so I don't physically have it here with me yet, but I will by the end of the month. This is another Regency romance, but a Regency romance in which fairies and the Fae also exist and coexist with Regency society. It's almost like revisiting Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. They're a bit more simple than that, but it feels as though you're in the same universe, which is a wonderfully comforting feeling for me. Then lastly, another 2 books that I would like to get to if I have the time. The first is The Haunting Season, which is a collection of short stories by a number of authors, many of whom I've read or have heard about. And this was a wonderful gift from Marissa of Blatantly Bookish, and it is somewhere in the house, and I do not have the time to track it down right this second. But she recommended it. I've always thought of it as an October sort of a book because it sounds quite spooky, but she pointed out that actually these are short stories intended for long winter nights. So it is in fact perfect for this time of year. So I would love to read those. I feel like they'll be a quick, easy thing to flip through, especially on nights when I've come home exhausted from work. And then lastly, another historical romance that I would like to get to is The Belle of Belgrave Square by Mimi Matthews. I read the first book in this series, The Siren of Sussex, back in June and loved it. It was so, so wonderful. So I'm really excited to get to the second one. This is another series very much like the Evie Dunmore series, where you follow a group of friends, and each book will follow another of the friends. And I don't know much more than that. I just know that I'm really excited to find out about the second young woman within their friendship group. So there you have it, my hodgepodge of books that I would like to get to in January. Let me know if you particularly loved any of these books to keep me hyped and excited to read them this month. Let me know what you are looking forward to reading this month and or what you are excited to do for the rest of the year. I'm not going to be making a reading or channel goals video purely because I don't want to put a lot of pressure on this. I want it to continue to be something fun to do. But I'm curious to see if any of you have particular goals for your reading this year. Until next time, or until I hear from you, be safe, be well, and happy reading. Bye everyone.